Okay, so the game plan is going to be to really Erev Pesach Chal B'Shabbos. That's the ikar we're going to do, so we can plan appropriately. And then, as much time as we have at the end, we'll talk about all the other halachas that, for some reason, and as much as we've all been doing Pesach yearly, somehow the same exact questions we just don't know. I don't know what it is, but okay, listen, I'm with everyone else here. Only difference is I prepared. So
It's the same thing like the last day of Yom Tov, you could have well, why is your pots
yeah, certain things you just never, yeah,
fresh?
certain things. Here we go. Here we go. So let's just go in order. We're going to go in order of progression. Today is Wednesday. Next Thursday, we're 8 days away from really the beginning of everything. Usually, when it's Tainus B'chayrim, firstly, just to point out, if one himself is not a B'char, but you had a B'char, your first son is a B'char, then you have the din of a B'char. You have to do it for him, which is just something people mess up on. Tainus B'chayrim, the halacha is that an Erev Pesach, B'chayrim have to fit Tainus B'chayros, I should say, excuse me, to be a dikduk. Whoever is a B'char has to fast. Now, instead of fasting, what we do is we listen to a siyum. Now, halacha I recently became aware of is not, I knew the halacha, a mistake I recently became aware of is that people show up to shul on Erev Pesach and they're a B'char and they know there's going to be a siyum afterwards. So Gavaldik. So in their mind, it's not a fast day today because I'm going to hear the siyum. Gavaldik. Now, there's two potential issues that happen. Potential issue number one is they have a coffee before davening. And no, it's not a fast day. But oh, okay. Potential number two is just because there's a siyum in the shul, you have to be there for the siyum. There's a siyum and you're in your car, like, oh, there was a siyum, so I could eat. No, it doesn't work that way. Now, it is interesting that because that the whole siba, the whole reason for the fast is really to publicize the nace that happened. We're a little bit more lenient on this fast. And Lameister Zaman already says that one could participate in the siyum via a telephone and things like that. COVID, this was very negeya that one could call in. On general, it happens to be the 9 days we have the shayla all the time. Can I be at a siyum? If I'm not at the siyum, I'm going to call in. I'm going to miss it. The answer is you have to be part of the matziv. Lamaisa, you could call in. It shouldn't really be negeya. Can you just pass me a cup of water or so? Anyway, Lamaisa shouldn't really be negeya, but that is Tainus B'chayris. Where does it happen? It happens in Erev Pesach. Problem is Erev Pesach this year is Shabbos. So it certainly doesn't happen on Shabbos. So then people say, okay, so it happens on a Friday. And again, because in our mind, it's not actually a fast day. So we say, Gavaldik, it could be on a Friday. Friday, we'll hear a siyum and everything will be good. That is mistake number two. Tainus B'chayres this year is on Thursday. On Thursday. So Thursday will be the day for siyumim. Thursday will be the day. Regular Tainus B'chayres. There's one addition that some are machmir for Friday also. So it could be there will be shuls that will have a siyum on Friday as well to be machmir. But
be on Friday.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shakol mi'avdoi. The reason for the fast is to publicize the nace. That's the simplest reason that happened to the B'chayrim many, many, many moons ago. That's the easiest. That's the easiest reason. It can't be Friday because you're not allowed to fast going to Shabbos. Now we're a little bit tainted because we're tainted because we know about Asar B'Teves. Now the answer is Asar B'Teves is the anomaly. Asar B'Teves, which whether we spoke about that or not, we should have. Asar B'Teves is a very, very stringent fast that we even fast on a Friday. No other fast would you fast on a Friday, and the reason is because Asar B'Teves is the Tchila of the Paranias. On Asar B'Teves is when it was Nigzar, was decreed that Tisha B'Av is going to happen. So we even fast on a Friday. Lamaisa, we never fast on a Friday, and that's the reason why we fast on a Thursday. Now, there's one more reason. Stam, another fun fact. Another reason is that the B'chars, in the time of Makas B'chayros, they fasted. They fasted because they were all nervous. There was a Makkah happening that people are dropping dead every B'char. So they fasted. So in order to remember that they fasted, we fast in Erev Yontif. That's a little bit of an Chasam Sefer, a very interesting reason that many do not know. So that's on Thursday. Comes Friday. Friday is Erev Shabbos. Now let's just, and I know at this point there's already been so much pregame hack that our brains are already officially confused. what's halacha, what's hearsay, what's hak. I'm sorry, what was saying?
What can you make a lamasa siyum on?
Siyum.
One parak in
No. The pashtus of the siyum is a mesechta in Gemara, a seder in Mishnayos. That's the pashtus. In halacha, some are mekel, machlan, I don't know what the right word is, on a entire area of halacha. But again, it's not so simple. We all know the story where Moshe Feinstein told that guy by the Siyam Hashas, that person who never learned, and he spent the full year and he learned one daf Gemara. They came to Rav Moshe and said, make a Siyam on the daf Gemara, and it's true. So what I'll say is, if you learn something for a year, like that guy learned the daf Gemara, then yeah, you could make a siyum on it. But if you rip through, you found the shortest thing of Mishnayos, it doesn't work exactly. A siyum has to be a mesechta. We are mekel on Tamid. It's actually one of the interesting things, even though Tamid is only 8 plot, and Tamid is maybe part of Midas. But okay, Lemaisa, that is the siyum. Now comes Friday. Let's just speak out what's happening over here. It's Erev Shabbos. We're about to talk about on Shabbos. You have to, not like maybe, you have to have chametz. Why do you have to have chametz? Because you have to have lechem mishnah. Why do you have to have lechem mishnah? Because it's a mitzvah, probably a daraisa. Friday night and Shabbos day, which we're going to get to, maybe even Shalosh Shabbos if you could be like really crazy, which we're going to get to in a moment. So you need to have chametz. So it comes on Friday. Friday is not Erev Pesach. So it comes on Friday. Could you eat chametz? Of course you can eat chametz. So it comes on Friday, and you want to know, what about this whole thing about beer chametz or burning your chametz? So our brains say, well, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I could burn the chametz whenever I want. I'll bring you a proof. I'm about to have challah tonight. So we normally know there's a soif ziman beer chametz, soif ziman achilas chametz, and I wrote down the times, which we'll get to in a moment. But so that's what we think. That's a mistake.
Just New York.
It's a mistake. I wrote down the times we're here in Garnerville. Here in Garnerville, even though no one here will be in Garnerville, but David to be in Garnerville. Baruch Hashem. I wrote down this manna for Garnerville really as a point of reference. So the halacha is that on Friday there is a soif zman bir chametz. 11:39 is the time this year. You have to on Friday. Why? Fascinating. You see how far the Chachamim went. Chachamim were nervous. If they waive the decree of burning the chametz this year, you know what's going to happen next year? When Pesach is a chveist on a Wednesday, you're going to say, last year, when did we burn the chametz? I don't know, wife, when did we burn the chametz? Last year, you burnt it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, there's no problem, we can do what we want. So to safeguard every year, the once in a mamish, a blue, it comes in an Erev Shabbos, we also burn it on the same zman. If anyone is looking, you could go listen to Rabbi Kagan's Shabbos HaGadol Drasha, and he's going to be machadesh, that he believes that you really have an extra hour this year, not like the calendars say, and Ayin Sham, if anyone would like. I won't be talking at the same time, so if anyone wants to go here, they certainly could go here. I don't know when we're going to be talking, but we'll figure that out afterwards. Here you go.
Got
Yeah.
the inner ready.
Yeah, we got the in. What's going on? Got the inside. This is yeah, of course. Yeah, that was the reason. So, anyways.
Why not using, we're talking about
Oh, we get to in a minute. Lechem Mishnah, up to. We got to 1 minute. So that is Friday. Good. So Friday, there is a halacha of bir chametz. What are you burning at bir chametz? You're burning what you did bedikas chametz the night before. So now you know that bedikas chametz is going to be on Thursday night. On Thursday night, which in the calendar is one day off, is Yud Gimel and not Yud Daled, which is the reason why when we'll be getting to mechiras chametz, you'll notice that the shtarais all have a different date. Usually it says Yud Daled on the top. This time it says Yud Gimel on the top. Everything is a day earlier. We're not going to really go into the halachas of mechiras chametz and bedikas chametz. Maybe if we have time at the end, which we've spoken about in the past. We're going to try to focus on what is most nageya this year. Now, after you burn the chametz on a Friday,
everything other than what you're going to have on Shabbos.
Oh, very good. You keep bringing that, which is actually very interesting. Rabbi Shabbos is shtar over here, which is what we use. They add in a beautiful line over here, and I was told that this is like, you don't know what the Rabbanim are hacking about. It's this line in the Mechira. Usually, it says, I'm selling all the chametz, whatever's on my premise, and I rent. Blah, blah. The problem is, how am I selling all my chametz on Yud Gimel? I'm going to eat Shabbos through the Friday night. So what am I do? I'm selling all my chametz, but not my. So they add in excluding any chametz that was designated to be eaten Erev Pesach before this man. that line is usually not there, which is just an interesting thing to note that it's real. Whatever you keep aside to eat on Shabbos, that is not part of your mechira, which, by the way, means
To get rid of it.
oh, you got to be careful. Normally, we go to sleep at night saying we found, we didn't find. Lamais, it's all sold. No, but we have a clause in the document. This is not being sold. So whatever you're going to leave over, your 3 bolkalach, your 3 pitas, your 3 whatevers, you have to be careful with. That is on Friday. Now, when it comes in Friday, okay, you're not going to say, I don't want to make this too technical because I find when we get too technical, we forget everything. But you're not going to say, generally, after you burn your chametz, you say the text of bir chametz, bittul chametz. Because usually, on a normal year, you stop eating your chametz at 10:30. You have till 11:30 to burn your chametz. At that point, it's all over. Pesach is here 100%. So then you say the kol chamira. Because now you're saying, whatever I have is done. But this year, you can't do that because it's the day earlier and you're about to eat your chametz tonight. So that text is going to be said on Shabbos. Text is going to be said on Shabbos. So you could, but then you still have to do something on Shabbos. So therefore, you're going to be doing Shabbos. Now, before we get to Lecha Mishnah, which is, Rabbi, you were mentioning, just to, let's go in order. So Lecha Mishnah. So we have 2 Lecha Mishnahs. We have Friday night and we have Shabbos day. So the question is, what do you eat for Lecha Mishnah? So the simple answer, one might say, is why not have matzah? Yeah. Have matzah, if you have no problem. So the answer is there's 2 minhagim at play. One minhag is that many people don't have matzah already from either Rosh Chodesh Nisan or Pirim, 30 days before Yantiv. And even those without those minhagim, everyone has a minhag that you don't have an Erev Pesach. Why? Because you want to come to that, say that first crunch of matzah. So gishmak. By the 3rd and the 17th crunch, then you're already complaining how it's too thick, which, by the way, parenthetically, this is a terrible avla that happens. I know I'm jumping. This is very important, of the most important halachas tonight. I know it's almost a chiyuv to either complain how your matzah is too thick or be so excited how your matzah is so thin.
They came out with this plate that shows you how big the matzah needs to be.
Wait, we're not getting there yet. We're not getting to shirim yet. 1 second. But I know that it's like, it's thick. While you eat the matzah, you're not allowed to talk. There's a mitzvah de'oraisa. This is the only mitzvah de'oraisa we do with eating. The only one. Kiddush on Friday night, maybe, and the first case, maybe, but the mechilas matzah is mitzvah deraisa. And you see people, they go their mitzvah deraisa, they take it, and as usual, it's a little bit thick this year. It's a little bit chewy this year. You push it a buffoon. You're in Lamashal, you're about to put in your tefillin, and you're middle talking before you wound up your tefillin. You're middle of the mitzvah. You have to finish eating your 1, your 2 kizesim. And also, by the way, that's someone whose his brain is off. But let's see someone for good reasons. Someone's his wife asks for another piece of challah, the kid asks, you're not allowed to talk, which is the reason why tzaddikim, I'll tell you what tzaddikim do. What tzaddikim do is they prepare bags of shirim. Before the Seder, they sit there and they say, we're going to have 10 people at the Seder, and they prepare individual doggy bags. This is what tzaddikim do on Erev Yantif. They sit there and they have individual achilas matzah bags, which are 2 kizesim. They have koyrich bags, which is 1 kizayis, which are afikoimin bags. Okay, I don't know if we're all holding it doing that, but at the very least, you make your bracha. But they're not coming tonight. They're not coming tonight.
I told them last night.
We scare them away. Okay, no, it's okay. I just feel bad. Achilas matzah bags. So we have to just be careful as you're not allowed to talk until you eat the shear. That was same thing with drinking. You said the same thing. Same thing with drinking. Okay, you take your first sip of your wine. You just think, how much I have to drink again? What are you doing? You're middle of a mitzvah. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to talk till you finish the shear. Hopefully, we'll get to the shear in a moment. Okay, sorry for that slight digression. Let's get back on track. So what do you eat? So you're not allowed to have matzah. So you have to have challah. So there's one other option. What's the other option? Matzah shira. What's matzah shira? Egg matzah. So it's a big machlekes. Hapayiskim Sfardim, I believe, more Mekel. Ashkenaz more Machmir. And if one is mamish OCD to the highest level, or elderly or whatnot, there are those that will be makel on matzah ashira, on egg matzah, if there's no other choice. However, halacha, it is not lechatchila, and lechatchila we have a din of lachamishna, we have a din of Shabbos, and therefore you have challah.
What's the issue with it?
Issue of which one? Matzah ashira?
Yeah, egg matzah. Is it the fact that you're having matzah before Pesach, or is it
It's a little bit of both.
the fact that
It's a little bit of both. It's a straight up halacha, a machlekes in the words of Shulchan Aruch. I actually think I have one of these quoted the Shulchan Aruch. I could go open it up, but it's a machlekes mechaber and ramah whether you're supposed to have matzah ashir on Erev Pesach. That's what it comes to. The simple halacha is that it boils down to is, would this in a Shas Chag type of world be allowed to have at the Seder? And the answer is yes. We don't do it, but you can't. Yeah. Yeah, because you couldn't eat anything else.
Because it's stuck in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying, well, what are you talking about? You're talking about brises, and you're talking about on Shabbos, not to challah. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I never had braces, so I can't really comment, but no, you take the little pick guy, the little pick guy that looks like a cone, the little, just clean out your braces. I don't know. They didn't have the pick guy. I don't know. You know, see, sure, there are those that say that, and it's true. And like I said, that's a Shas Chak type of case. If someone's mamish nervous, Shas Chak, you would do that. But the halacha, one should not really do that. Yeah.
We go crazy to make these rules of just in case for next year. So you're saying
No, not just in case for next year.
no, other things, right?
Yeah,
Let's say we're
listening.
talking about beer chametz, having a zman beer, all these things. It's not because there's any rule about it. It's because so they wouldn't make a mistake. So we're stretching it for that, but we can't stretch for something like this.
No, that's the other way. You went backwards. There we're being machmir. This is being mikkel. The opposite. It's the opposite. We're being machmir also on the egg matzah. So you're asking,
Being machmir to not have.
Oh, good.
Being machmir to
good.
don't have chametz.
Good. So the answer is good.
Matzah shira on Erev.
Good. So let's explain what the answer is. The answer to the question is good. Ravari's bringing out the $1 million question. The Lamaisa, we're so machmir on chametz, which I want to actually point out a big fallacy, which is a reason we have to keep in our mind about Pesach in general. Which is nowadays in the world of kashrus and the world of publications, we're all very educated consumers, and we all know there are different things which are lechatchila, and there's b'diavad, and this thing called bittul, and there's all these different concepts that we know a little bit about. And we know that during the whole year you make a mistake, and b'diavad things are mutter. And we know there are certain products that require Pesach certification, certain products don't. And in our minds, we sort of don't fully understand the chaymer hadavar, the stringency of chametz. And I'd like to explain that the stringency is as follows. And this is going to be really bringing out your question. On Pesach, there's no halach of bittul, which means the smallest dot of crumb of bread that is visible, that is in your possession, that is potentially in your food, is an Isser De'oraisa that it contains kares. Chametz is the highest level. If inside my chalent a piece of pig falls in, no, it's batal. A dot of milk falls in, it's batal. A dot of chametz falls in, one crumb in a massive chalent the size of this room, it is Isser De'oraisa to touch that chalent. There's no bittul on Yom Tif. Now, before Yontif, there is bittul. Before Yontif, which is part of the reason with consumer products and things get very, very confusing. But that's the reason why a lot of the general rules that we have with kashrus and things like that quickly go out the window on Pesach. Because we have to be chayshish, we have to be so machmir because of that one crumb. So now comes the question, Rabbi is asking, I don't understand. We just said that one dot of chametz is the worst thing in the world. So we have a shayla. Matzah ashira, shafsal chak, you could have egg matzah. Bread, maybe you're going to have one crumb, so maybe we should go and we should have egg matzah. The answer is, if one is impossible to be careful, then they should. But if we could create a simple way to keep the chametz off my table, then there's no problem. What's the simple way? Some people eat outside. Some people eat on a porch. Some people will just say, like, don't be so crazy. You have a challah roll. Have something not so crummy. I saw a publication, right, which is very simple. Just you have to think.
No sourdough.
Don't have your sourdough sitting there cutting it with your chainsaw, and there's crumbs flying all over your house, and you're like, oh, whoops, what do we do now? So what do? So you have a challah roll, you have a pita bread, you have something that's not crummy, and you give it out. And yes, it's not the time to hand the kid, oh, you want another challah roll? Oh, you want a pita? And the kid's running around the house with a pita. That's called not having a brain. So the answer is, you're right that we're so chamer on it. But if there's a simple way out of it, and you're mekayim both halachas, which is that we don't have matzah ashira, and you still could have challah, that is what one should do. That is what one should do. That is fine at Shabbos. Now let's talk about shal shudis for a moment. I know everyone here wants a shikul chumrah. Everyone came tonight, because Shabbos day. Now let me give you some zmanim. So Shabbos day, we just said, is when you have to finish eating your chametz. By what time? By 10:20 in the morning, which means, people say, whoa, why do you need to finish by 10:20 in the morning? Just don't have bread. Well, you have a mitzvah to have your Shabbos Suda, which means you have to have bread. Okay, so then do it before you daven. As someone asked me today. Interesting question. What's the halacha? Halacha is whether you're going to say, oh, Chasidim, I'm going to eat before I daven, whether that's brought halacha or not. We're not talking about it right now. But one thing I'll tell you for sure, there's no chiyuv kiddush. There's no chiyuv suda because you didn't daven yet. So you can daven before you daven. So therefore, what you do is you got to daven early. You have to have kiddush and your challah by 10:20. Now 10:20, you finish eating your challah. Now you have another hour, 20 minutes, 11:39 to get rid of everything, which means you finish eating it, and then you have time to sweep up, to clean up, whether you're inside or whether you're outside, and you want to flush some crumbs down the toilet, whatever you need to do, you have the next hour. Now you could continue eating your suda then. There's no problem. There's absolutely no problem. You continue eating your suda. You just can't have bread anymore. And the answer is, Ezeu Chacham Harayas and Nailad. Who is the wise man who foresees the future? You plan appropriately, whether it's that you eat on plastic dishes, whether it's that you have a plastic tablecloth, whether it's that you eat it outside, you take 2 chairs and you have your challah right outside your dining room on the outside porch. Now, I will point out a problem that comes, that you can't have the suda in a completely different location. This is a complicated halacha we don't have time for now. But let's say someone says, oh, I'm going to eat my suda out in my back house. Let's say someone has a back house. And then I'll come inside my dining room and have my rest of my meal. You can't do that because you can't bench. Well, why not? Because halacha is, it's called a shini makam. You change the locations. And you can't bench back where you ate. So now there's 3 things you could do. Number 1 is, okay, so go back wherever you ate your bread and bench there. Which you could do. I think a lot of the hotels will, if you think, if you want to know what could cause someone anxiety, try to have 1,000 people having your challah rolls, and then, okay, the answer is that they have a lot of goyim. So there's a little bit of an eitzah. You have, during that hour of time, you have all the goyim in the world cleaning up every crumb. Yeah, but again, I'm not saying that you got to be, this is, as we said before, that 1 crumb is not batal on Pesach. And if someone wants to know, people say hotel kashrus, yeah, kashrus, no. One of the reasons you have to be so careful is because of that 1 crumb. That 1 crumb, you have a waitress that comes in from the outside, holding her whatever she holds. Okay, during the regular year, okay, she's holding her Big Mac and she's serving you chalent. Okay, it's not so gishmak, she's like a Big Mac in your chalent. But okay, no, it's what's the worst case that's gonna happen? I'm not saying you should do that. No one should say, oh, no big deal, Big Mac in your chalent. But on Pesach, she walks in with her donut and she puts her hand back on the thing. Hashem Yirachim. Hashem Yirachim. I one time saw a waitress. She walked in and she took out she was holding like a Coke. Mamish, an innocent Coke. It was a Coke, but it clearly wasn't a kosher Pesach Coke, and it wasn't from the hotel Coke. And she's walking around like the dining room. One of the people in charge came over, tar and feathered her barabbim. Okay, she was a guy, she was there, so it was for kasha, so I don't know if it was right or wrong. But the point of the story is you have to be super, super careful with kasha. So now you have to know everyone's eating challah on Shabbos, how much more careful you have to be. So sometimes people are going to eat in 2 different locations, but you have to be careful. Either you have to be able to see your old location, or you have to go back there and bench, or a nice eitzah that I was told today from Rav Felder in Lakewood. He says a simple eitzah, such a geshmak eitzah, Talmud Chacham. He says, So don't make yourself a mishachar. Let's say you have two different places, yeah? So you have your dining rooms over here, and you're eating your chametz in your upstairs bedroom. Why? Because you're locking that door and you're selling for Pesach. Gavaldik, right? But you can't see. He says, Chacham, just keep the piece of chal in your mouth, close your mouth, walk downstairs, sit down at your table and swallow. And now, avadi of das,
Right.
and then you swallow back to your location. Such a pasha eitza. Fine. So Lamaisa, that's when you have to finish eating. So now the question is the $1 million question. What about Shalish Shodis? Sudash Shlishit. So now. So number one is bench and wash. Bench and wash again. So first of all, just be cognizant of the time. 10:20. 10:20. So even if you want to bench and wash and take a 15-minute break, okay? So that means the shalosh should is benching and washing has to be at 10:10, which means you have to finish your prior suda at 9:50. It means you had to start that at 9:30, which means now you're davening. We just went from davening. You're davening at it's mamish nate. It's mamish nate. It's mamish nate. So the Mishnah Berurah writes, very important. Mishnah Berurah writes, and Rav Nachum, you're bringing up, what about chatzais? And it's a real halacha that in general you can't have shalosh shudas for a chatzais. It's a machlokes hapaiskim. Mishnah Berurah writes, because of the chomer hadavar of shalosh shudas, he gives us an appreciation of shalosh shudas. Says I saw beautifully the Chayzim Lublin, the Sefer Divrei Emes says, you know why it's called shalosh shudas? Why do we call it shalosh shudas? It makes no sense. It's Sudash Lishit. Why do we call it shalosh shudas? He says something so gishmak. He says, you know why you call it shalosh shudas? Because by eating shalosh shudas, it's migala. It shows what were your other two sudas in Shabbos. If you don't eat shalosh shudas, so you had a Friday night meal, you had a Shabbos morning meal like you have during the week, and then you get a little more food. But when you go out of your way and you eat shalosh shudas, you get shalosh seudais. You get all three, because then it shows, you know what you eat Friday night? You eat Friday night for Hashem. You know what you eat Shabbos morning? You eat Shabbos morning for Hashem. And you know what the raya is? The raya is that you had shalosh shudas, you had sudas shlishis, and it goes back, zok the chayzeh, and it gives you all three sudas. Such a gishmak of art. But okay, so we see the chaymer adavar shalosh shudas. So you're not supposed to have shalosh shudas for chatzais. So says Mishnah Berurah, let's be machmir on both ends. Whoa, what does that mean? Says Mishnah Berurah, if you're able, the best thing is to dive in early enough to now make kiddush and wash and eat and bench. Take a 10-minute break, go for a shvatzia around the block, do something else, come back, wash again, eat again. But zok the Mishnah Berurah, what about chatzais? Says Mishrei Nachanami. And then later in the day, make sure to eat again. Eat peiros. Eat well. Whether you can have mazenis or not, we'll talk about in a moment. Eat peiros or eat other foods. And that's what the Mishnah Berurah says is the most lechatchila. Lamaisa, I can't believe that for the average Joe that's going to be so nageya. Just because of the zman. I just want to tell you the zman. The zman, even Netzach Chama is 6:20. 6:20. So if you start davening at 5:45. Get Netzach at 6:20. You finish by 8 o'clock. Then you could do it. But listen.
What about dividing up the suda, having the first course?
The same thing. You still have to break. You have to break.
Something you break.
Yeah, you have to break. But again, it's 10:20. You have to finish. 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 Okay.
Did not remember Hashem said Shabbos is the day of rest?
That's it. You got the rest of the day to sleep. Don't worry. Rest of the day. So again, let's talk practical. This is the highest level. This is the wait a minute, so if you eat gebrach, then if you don't have gebrachs, what? Of course, it's after the zman. It's after the zman chametz. No, so even still, most. Good. Let me explain what he's bringing up. He's bringing up so for Barney, I understand. It's not Pesach yet. You're right. It's after the Zman Achilas Chametz, but it's not Pesach, so maybe we should have gebrachs. Maybe we should have gebrachs. Now, the real answer to this question is, when there's a clip that I'm sure is going to go viral again from last 4 years ago. That's what he's asking from Rav Shmuel. That Rav Dino Lasha Kleiman said with Rav Shmuel Kamenetsky the last time he was at Erev Pesach Shabbos about 4 years ago, and he started asking him about Kinei Dluch. He was asking him because again these are a little bit you're not supposed to have. You could have cooked matzah on Erev Pesach. You're not supposed to have other types of matzah. So therefore, kinedlach would be the perfect item to have on Shabbos after the Zman. It's a mizoynis to be Mekayim Shalosh Shabbos. So he was asking this whole question about Gebrachs and not Gebrachs, and Shmuel was just like laughing at the whole thing. Like, what's this whole thing called Gebrachs? I don't know what you're talking about. Avadi, you can eat it. He grew up in Lithuania. Like, he didn't understand no kasha. So the real answer to your question is, those who believe in it, and they go out of sight, and they won't even touch Gebrachs even after the Zman before Pesach. And the answer is because once the Zman, because whatever the chashash of Gebrachs is, which is not so simple to understand, whatever it is, no, but that's a different story. That's because it's nach.
Even though
It's not.
Yeah, that's what he's asking. You're bolstering his kasha. See, but it's good kasha. It's good kasha. The answer is we don't do it.
even
So
on
we
a
don't do it.
regular year, you don't
Same thing.
have to.
That's what he's asking. The answer is we don't do it. But now, what's again? Let's just after all the dust settles, let's just be practical for a moment. Let's just say what one should do. Lamaisa, if one could daven eight and eat two sudas, matav manayim. The average person, it's not shaykh. And therefore, you're going to daven early enough. You're going to have to be home, kiddush, wash, finish eating by 10:20. By 10:20 is when you're going to wash out your mouth.
New York.
Mouth wash. Yeah, I'm in Garnerville right now. My zman, I'm at Garnerville. Everyone should check the local zman. Wash out your mouth. Brush your teeth. It's Shabbos. It's not so simple to brush your teeth. In 60 seconds or less, I'll give the eights that we've given many times here about brushing your teeth on Shabbos. Shabbos toothbrush, not Shabbos toothbrush. You could, you can't. I'm going to give one eight, so that's two eights is one from the Chachani and one from Shlem Zalman Arbach that you're Mekayim every sheet in the world. And Moshe Feinstein writes in the Tshuva that there's 5 Yisurim you could have about brushing your teeth on Shabbos, believe it or not. You could debate it, you cannot debate it, but the Lamaisa. 2 simple eights is when it comes to brushing your teeth on Shabbos. Number 1 is you can't use toothpaste. Don't use toothpaste, the real toothpaste, the thick toothpaste. So 2 things you could do. 1, take mouthwash, put in your mouth. Take dry toothbrush with mouthwash in your mouth. This is every Shabbos, by the way. Put the toothbrush, and it works. Put the toothbrush in your mouth. It dribbles a little bit on yourself, okay? And you brush your teeth with the mouthwash in your mouth, spit it out, and you brushed your teeth. Eitzah number 1. Whether you're allowed to rinse off your toothbrush on regular Shabbos, it might be a chana, you're preparing for later. It's just gross. Okay, we're not going to talk about that right now. Whether you should have a separate Shabbos toothbrush, or Moshe Feinstein says this is the most lechatchila, gevaldik. If you don't have one, lamaisa is what to be makel upon. The other eight says the chachani is a nice eitzah also. I don't know if I ever said this one also over with Shever Levi. I don't remember which one. I think it was Shever Levi. Excuse me. He says, put mouthwash in your mouth, spit out the mouthwash. Now, what's left in your teeth? A little bit of mouthwash, but not enough that's really absorbent. Then take your dry toothbrush and brush your teeth gently, because you don't want to bleed, but it still will have. Again, I'm just being practical. Another thing I'm saying is, look, you don't need to put mouthwash in your mouth, but the point is, it still will clean out your mouth. And lamaisa, you're going to basically have to get rid of all those. You have to get rid of all those crumbs, and then what? Floss as well. Floss lamaisa. If you have, let's say, visualized pics, it depends on the person. There's no halacha. You can't rip the string. Yeah, still make it, believe it or not. Tell me that. There's not many hours. It's right then. This man is right then. You're not letting you have chametz in your mouth after 10:20. At 10:20. So it's floss. Very good question. The answer to floss is you have to know your teeth. If anyone says floss is mutter, they're wrong. And it says floss is usher, they're wrong. There's no such thing. You have to know your
In a
teeth.
regular year when we have beer
Yeah.
hummus at a time and stop eating hummus at
Yeah.
a time. We never brush our teeth.
Guess what? You're definitely supposed to. We learned to know halacha. Of course, you got to clean out your mouth. So the answer is floss. It depends if you
Right,
bleed.
right. Here's the myth.
If
Alright.
you bleed, then you have a problem. If you don't bleed, then you do not have a problem. So what's the answer? Make sure that your teeth do not bleed. Now, very important, just to spell it, it's very partial. Lemaisa, you are allowed to continue your suda. You just can't have chametz. You're allowed to continue your suda. People think that they have to finish their Shabbos suda by 10:20. No. You have to make kiddush and you have to wash. You can bench whenever you want to bench. Bench whenever you want to bench. Now, some people might want, it's 10:20 in the morning. They might not want to have challah right now. So they might want to have a little bit to eat and then eat later. Some people might want to take a break. But Lamaisa, your suda could continue. Lamaisa, your suda could continue. Now, when it comes, you continue as much as you want. Now, but let's talk about the shal shudas that we're having. You're having fruit. You're having whatever you're having later in the day. But you should not have it really past the 10th hour of the day. That 10th hour of the day that we spoke about on Purim comes back again. Why? Because you have to have an appetite. Mamish the same halacha by Purim. Same halacha on Purim that we don't want to have a Suda too late. So when you have your appetite for your Friday night Suda, now you want to have your appetite for your matzah. And therefore, you really shouldn't have too much to eat after the 10th hour, which is approximately 4 o'clock. However, so the real answer is, as I spoke to teenagers this morning, and I said to them, guys, I don't know if you eat something at the 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon and 9 o'clock at night, you're not hungry. What's the shiloh in the world? So the answer is you are. So you just have to know yourself. You don't stuff your mouth. But now again, you want to if you want to try to get every lechatchil over here, shal shudis, you're supposed to have a mincha first. That's the most lechatchila. So really, the earliest mincha is 127. So really, if you want to get every chumrah over here, you're davening nates, you're having a suda, you're washing, you're taking a walk, you're having another suda, then you're finishing your Shabbos day suda. You're davening mincha 127, then you're having your peiros by 4 o'clock, and now you're mekayim everything. And everyone within that level, as much as one is able to do. Lamaisa, Motzei Shabbos, just I put down some zmanim so we keep in our mind. 8:15 is approximately the time. Now, very important, as in case Erev Yontiv is not generally busy enough, you really have to be cognizant to prepare for the Seder before Shabbos. Why? Because you're going from Shabbos into Yontif. There's no time now to start making your eggs, to start roasting your things, start washing your romaine lettuce. Number one, there's no time because you're supposed to go right into your Suda, right into your Seder to keep the kids up, etc., etc. Number two, there's no time, is a lot of these things aren't so simple to be doing on Yontif. You have to be careful roasting things, this, that.
Later, after Shabbos.
No, it is, but it goes straight in. When you do that, you come home from shul Motzei Shabbos at 8:30 at night, which is later than a normal year, and now you got to start. You can't set up for the seder. Usually, it's the second seder that starts late. This year, the first seder starts late because you can't start setting up until you come home. Why? Because of achana. Now, for women, important to remind them they have to say bar chamav deal. For men, we daven, so we don't have this problem. They can't start preparations for the seder until they finish that. That's basically Erev Shabbos Shechal. So you really should have everything prepped before Shabbos, which again, this just requires some organizational skills, which women generally have and men are horrible at, which is to compartmentalize the cleaning and the chametz and the Pesach and the Seder and have it all organized properly. We're going to end. I want to end where we're out of time. The Seder, again, the rest of the halachas, I think, pachas yeser pachas we all know. Just just a few just nuggets about the Seder. Number one is, again, the Seder is the most auspicious night of the world, and you can Yitzias Mitzrayim, Yitzias of your own Mitzrayim, and there's the Alaskulas of the night, etc., which we could talk about for another hour. We don't have time right now. However, the Dalet Kaisais, the Matzah, the Maror, the saying the Haggadah, the eating the Suda, these are all real mitzvahs. It's not like, oh, yeah, Dalet Kaisais, I have one. By the time I get to the fourth, it's like, oh, I still have wine left here from the third cup, so I'll take a sip. No, it's a din of Dalal Kaisis. So really the problem is, and I'm just going to talk about Dalal Kaisis, but this will conclude, is everyone just gets messed up how much they have to drink. Because they get messed up how much they have to drink, they end up often, from what I have seen, not doing the mitzvah bechlal. So now, the answer is, you have to have a revius in your cup. And you have to drink anywhere from the majority of your revius. That's the din. L'chatchila is to drink the kais. Now, that din is the only time is on the Seder, by the way. It's a mistake that people make. People think on a Shabbos, they make a
Rabbi, I think you don't have that issue.
It's not for you, but for your wife. For your wife, it's a problem. No, you see all the time. Women have a chiyuv also. Women have the exact same chiyuv, and people mess up. So the answer is that your revius, right, they take a sip and they're done. So the answer is, what is a revius? Revius is between 3 and 5 ounces. Between 3 and 5 ounces. The first kais, you should be makbid on. First kais is kiddush. Kiddush is always a higher level of chumrah. It's probably a derais. So the first kais, you want to have 5 ounces. The other kais is 3 ounces is enough. But now, so therefore, how much should you be drinking? The first kais 5. The other kais is 3. Good. Now let's say you can't do that. How much should you be drinking? The first kais 2.6. The other kais 1.6. So when you tell someone they have to drink only 1.6 ounces, oh, I could do that. This is about 1.6 ounces.
I think we should just give our wives a double shot.
Mamish, a double shot, a drum more than a double to drink. So that's what someone has to know. And if someone gets as the Seder's going on,
Let's say we gave an actual cup, which was
it has to hold 3 ounces. No, 2 is too small. 2.9 is the smallest share you could get. But you have to be able to drink that amount. Now, if you can't drink wine, a woman could drink grape juice. And if you want to get the chumrah of wine, as once it has the tam of wine, it's enough. Which, by the way, is not a lot of wine. A little bit of wine gives it the tam of wine. Now, of course, the lechatchila is to have red wine and to have non-mavushal and to have no additives added and all those things.
All the
But
grape
again,
juice are non-negotiable, and then everyone puts them in the fridge.
yeah, you got to be careful. Good. But again, what I want to be ma'ira right now is that everyone, men and women, have a chiyuv daled kaisis. Know your shiurim, so you're yaitzi. Similarly with the matzah, and this will conclude. A matzah, avada l'chatchilas, you want to have 2 kazaisim for achilas matzah. And you have 1 kazayis for kayrich and 1 kazayis for afikaim. And the l'chatchila, what are 2 kazaisim of your hand matzah? Anywhere between a half to 2/3 of a matzah, great. But because we give such big shiurim, what happens is the woman has a big share for achilas matzah and for kayrich and or for whatever comes tomorrow, and she takes a half a bite of her lettuce leaf. You have to know what your shiurim are to be yoytze, and then there is the lechatchila. We'll conclude. I just want to conclude with one very nice line that I saw about the seder, and this will conclude. If you ever noticed that the seder has 15 steps, 15 simanim are your seder. Kaddish orchas karpas yachas. It's 15. The number 15 is a fascinating number. I wish I knew where this came from. I have a shtickle written here. I guess I got it from someone's like, oh, I don't know where it came from. Wherever it came from. 15 is many 15s in life. 15 is, Klal Yisrael is like the Yerech, like the moon. The moon is 15. Pesach starts on the 15th. The moon gets bigger, the moon gets smaller. That's what Klal Yisrael is Nimshal too. The Beis HaMikdash has 15 steps walking into the Beis HaMikdash. There's 15 Shir Hamalises walking of Shir Hamalis. What is this all reminiscent of? This reminiscent of is that 15 is that you start at the bottom and 15 steps you're walking into the Beis HaMikdash. On Leil Seder, we're starting at Kadesh and we're taking 15 steps till we end the Seder. We're in the Beis HaMikdash. We're sitting there with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So hopefully, b'siyata d'shmaya, all the achanas that we're doing, all the preparations for Shabbos or Chaliyos b'Shabbos, for the Leil Seder, for everything is to what? Is to get to the night of the Seder, is to reach that incredible moment. And hopefully, b'siyata d'shmaya, as the Maral says, Nirtza is a moment of incredible mercy. But how do you get there? How do you get to the Rachamim of Nirtza? It's only if you start from Kadesh. It's only if you build up, you go up that ladder of the 15 steps, which of course only happens if you start with your preparations prior, which only happens if you know the halachas of the preparations, which we did tonight. Hopefully, b'siyata d'shmaya, with all the preparations, we should all be zeicha lekach.